Good afternoon. I'm Erran Sharpe, and I'm going to take you back to simpler times. Long ago in Japan, there was an old storyteller, a master of his art, traveling on a journey. As he crossed the countryside, the sun was setting lower in the sky, and he knew he needed to find a place to stay the night and get a meal. And as he went on, it seemed as if his prayers were answered, because at the foot of the hill, there was a dojo, a school of swordsmanship where samurai trained. And in those ancient days, the habit was, the custom, that if you fought a duel with a student at the dojo, you would be given a place to stay and a meal. But the old storyteller felt the weariness in his limbs and the soreness in his bones, and he knew what a duel, even a duel with wooden swords with the students, would mean for a man of his age. He thought a few moments, and then he smiled and walked up to the door and knocked. One of the students answered the door and said, "Good evening, grandfather. What can we do for you?" And the old storyteller said, "I've come to challenge the master of the house to a duel." Well, to challenge a master was to fight a duel with iron swords, often to the death. And the master of this house was a famous samurai who was known across Japan for his excellent swordsmanship and his excellent teaching. The student laughed and said, "Grandfather, why don't you challenge one of our first-year students?" "No, I'm challenging the master." "Well, grandfather, why don't you challenge one of our second-year students?" "I insist on challenging the master." The storyteller was brought into the school. The master came down, motioned to one of the students to bring a sword for the old man, who put it at his feet and never glanced at it again. The samurai master slowly drew his sword from under his robes, prepared to strike the first blow, and only then did the storyteller speak. He said, "There is a valley with a beautiful clear stream running through it, a small village along the banks of the stream. At the far end of the village, there is a hut where lives an old storyteller. Every day, the storyteller would go down to the water and talk and listen to the fish and the stories of the things they had done and the places they had gone. And every day, the old storyteller would return to the village and tell the people of the village the stories he had learned from the fish." The samurai put his sword back and said, "Storyteller, you have defeated me." And the students set up a clamor. "What do you mean, defeated you? He didn't even strike a blow. He never touched his sword. How could he have defeated you?" The master smiled and turned to his students and said, "How many times have I told you that to win in battle, to win in a duel, your mind must be absolutely present. You must think of nothing else but where you are. This man took me far away from here and long ago. He could have slain me at will." And so it was, and so it will always be for those who tell tales and stories from the heart.